Welcome to One-on-One with Expert Flyer. I'm your host, Lisa Caslin, and I'm so excited about our show today. We are talking to Marina Berezovska. She's the founder of a really cool organization called TravelTechCon, and they're actually doing a conference in California in the next month, right, Marina? Was it June 9th?
Yeah, June 7th to 9th. Thanks for having me.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Good. So give us a little bit of an overview. What is TravelTechCon?
Well, TravelTechCon is an independent conference on technology for specifically travel startups. Our main audience is travel startup founders, and we work with these founders to enable them to explore the new technology, to have an unbiased conversation about technology, to find the best ways best opportunities to disrupt the travel industry.
Very, very cool. All right, so this is your third year, correct?
Yes, we've been doing it for about 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, and has your audience grown? Tell me who kind of comprises your audience? Are there exhibitors, there speakers? Mm-hmm. Who are the attendees?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we started 3 years ago as a meetup, Travel Tech meetup, and we still do the meetups to this day regularly in San Francisco. 3 years ago, we started, our first meetup was, I think we had 5 people. And we were meeting in the kitchen of a co-working space. That's how it all started. And since then, I just started kind of seeing the interest and demand for this kind of community, because before that, what I would often hear is that there are all sorts of communities out there in San Francisco, health tech, fintech, food tech, fashion tech even, but nothing really for travel tech. So founders in travel tech had really little opportunity to connect to each other and kind of benefit from peer-to-peer learning and collaboration. So that's what I started seeing. I started seeing that there is a huge demand for it, and we started organizing these meetups regularly every month, and the community kind of grew. Right now we have our meetups gather around 50 people every month. Most of these people are travel startup founders. We are an open community. We welcome everyone, corporate companies in travel as well, any technology experts and kind of like technologists or futurists as well from different companies. But our focus is travel startup founders. We want to enable founders to connect, learn from each other, and share their expertise, and just have a safe space to kind of discuss all the challenges, technology challenges that they are facing on the everyday basis when they're building their products in travel.
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of larger corporations that may not be as agile but understand that there is kind of low-hanging fruit probably love to pick your brain, right?
So that's something that happens pretty regularly. A lot of since we started doing it, there was a lot of interest from corporates to join a community, to be part of it, to support us as well, to attend and get to meet startups, because for them it's an opportunity to learn what startups are doing, what startups are working on, what are the newest kind of technologies that startups are jumping into these days. For the big corporate companies, we call them the dinosaurs of the industry. For them, it's a way to kind of stay up to date to what's happening in the travel space in terms of startups. So it's a very good source of insights for them.
Yeah, so that kind of bridges to the next question. What are sort of maybe the top 2 or 3 technologies that seem to be most important to these legacy organizations that are trying to keep up? What are they hot on?
Well, I would say that from the experience of our community, we know for sure that there are a couple of emerging technologies that the community is extremely excited about. One of those would be blockchain for sure.
Yeah.
I'm also part of the startup called Winding Tree, which is building an open source decentralized travel distribution platform on blockchain.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. First, give us a very simple explanation of blockchain and how it does relate to travel distribution in the travel industry.
Right. So blockchain, basically you can think of it as a decentralized database. So it hosts a bunch of data on blockchain. And the benefits of blockchain, if I talk about them in a very simple terms, is that first is decentralized. So there's not a single authority that kind of controls it, which means it's less hackable, less mutable, less manipulatable, and more reliable. And then the other benefit is that it records, it's basically a ledger that records any transaction which cannot be manipulated later. So for example, if I booked a flight or I booked a room, for example, with the inventory that sits on the blockchain, it's very unlikely that there's going to be a situation of, for example, double booking for a traveler, because everything is pretty much accounted for. And in simple terms, it's the mistakes that are typically happen with the data in travel currently are way less likely to happen on blockchain.
Okay,
so it solves a lot of kind of data problem, and it solves the fact that currently in travel there are so many intermediaries between the traveler and the actual inventory,
the OTAs,
right?
And all of that. Yeah,
there's so much of that sometimes most of the time it creates a lot of kind of conflicts, and also all the fees, kind of regulations, because all of these systems are closed. So for us, another benefit of this kind of system is that it enables actual healthy competition, because right now for startups wanting to build innovative, disruptive products in travel, all of them will probably need access to data. That's probably the basic requirement, right? And that data currently is is closed. It's part of closed systems. It's hard to get access to it. The data can be not so accurate as well. And the healthy competition.
Is that when you say that? Are you referring to the global distribution system?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's the technology and the innovation opportunities are kind of being missed because it's very difficult to get access to this kind of data for startups, whether because of the technology itself and kind of like outdated standards and data being not so accurate, or it's also very expensive. What blockchain also enables is that it gets rid of the intermediaries, which means that the costs are going down. So for startups, it's an opportunity to actually compete with established products.
Okay. But they'd sort of be in their own little world. They wouldn't be able to access all of the data associated with all of the carriers, the hotels, and anybody who's using this GDS, right? They'd be starting kind of from scratch with their own blockchain-oriented distribution system, correct?
Well, what Winding Tree is building, it's actually a marketplace, which means that the supply side, so inventory, all the partners or all the customers of this platform would be putting their inventory on blockchain. It'll be searchable and transactable by the demand side. So it really just a matter of how fast and how many customers on the supply side we bring on the platform. so that the demand side gets access to all this data that's available on blockchain. They don't have to build their own blockchains. They don't have to do anything. They just access the marketplace that where data sits on blockchain.
So what's the temperature out there? Are suppliers excited to do this? Are they? Yes, they are.
Absolutely. Great. This has been. We've seen. We just completed our ICO, which is initial coin offering, so token sale as a method of funding this project, because we are open source and not for profit. And during this whole campaign, we've seen so much interest from both demand side and supply side. People are literally waiting for us to open early access to the platform.
Wow,
and one of the things that we're going to be doing at TravelTech.com this year, apart from the main keynotes day, we will have workshops day. And one of the most exciting workshops for me personally is the workshop on decentralized travel distribution. So this is the first in the history of travel industry, first workshop that is open to public, to anybody who has a TravelTech.com pass, right? It's open for any startup, any engineer to come and learn in a very direct way skills to work with decentralized travel distribution on blockchain. This has never happened before. This is the first time that TravelTech founders, teams, product teams, engineers will be able to actually learn how to work with blockchain-based distribution.
Wow,
and we're intentionally making it open. It's not a private exclusive event. It's not only kind of like mentorship based. It's open for our entire community.
Great. Yeah, you're holding steadfast to your mission.
Yes. We would like to enable. This is the first step for us to attract engineers in travel space to kind of take this platform, take this open source tool and data, and actually do something with it.
That's terrific. Okay, so I know you have. I was going through the list of speakers. You've got some pretty heavy hitters coming on board, and I think I saw you have a representative from IATA coming, and they're going to be talking about the top airline industry challenges and some of the opportunities for startups.
Right.
So, if we talk a little bit about, I guess, what the innovation community, the startup community, is looking at in terms of what are those challenges and what are the innovation opportunities. What are the top 2 or 3 there?
Well, I think airlines is a very particular niche, and I think with airlines, a lot of the opportunity still lies in the distribution, which is something that we try to work around with the blockchain technology. Apart from airlines. Something that excites our community a lot is the future of air mobility and urban mobility in general.
Yes, smart cities and all of that.
Smart cities, all of that. To me, it's extremely interesting to see not only the kind of like developments in manufacturing, production, new technology, efficient fuel, for example, for aircrafts, new kind of aircraft that are able to that might be faster or cheaper or more efficient in terms of transportation, but also new business models coming up and services connected to it. So from loyalty to luggage to business travel in terms of your like private business jets, for example, or subscription-based flights, which are business models that were never there before. So simply the future of how we're going to move around, whether it's urban mobility or air mobility, maybe ground transportation, this topic is extremely interesting to me, and I think our community is always super excited to hear about what's happening in the space. So I'm personally looking forward to our speakers on this topic because I personally want to learn more.
Yeah. I bet. So, what are some other highlights? So, if folks were listening to this now and they're thinking, I presume there's still time to register and attend the event,
yeah.
correct? Yeah. Okay. So, if you were going to maybe give us a few of the top speakers that you think are really going to get people roused, who would they be?
Well, I'm personally very interested in what the Luft Global Research founder will be talking about. Luft is a research company that studies travel industry, and they make a lot of really, really solid predictions about top travel tech trends in the future. So I'm personally really looking forward to learn what's coming in their opinion.
Okay.
Of course, Lufthansa is very interesting because we want to know what kind of challenges in the airline industry Lufthansa sees as something where startups can actually help, or where startups can actually move the industry forward faster than traditional businesses. Super interested about the urban mobility on blockchain by co-founder of IOMob. This is going to be very exciting because it's going to be all about smart cities and services connected to the smart cities. Another startup that I'm super excited about is CrowdVilla, and they're working around blockchain in the space of real estate, so holiday homes rentals. And what is the future of how real estate will be offered for travelers.
Okay, cool. I have another question. I don't know if anybody at the show will touch upon this, but we've covered this a few times, and we have relationships with a few advocacy groups like the Air Travel Fairness Coalition and some others, and there's this issue of transparency, particularly in the airline industry, and dynamic pricing, and really sophisticated data mining that's going on right now. What is your thoughts about that? Because I think there's two schools of thought there. One is, we're tracking all of this data to give you a better product and so on and so forth. But then from the consumer standpoint, they're sort of like, well, you're only going to feed me the fares that you think my purse can afford, so that's not really fair. So I'd be interested to hear your opinion on all of that.
Well, I think I'll probably have. I'm a bit biased because a lot of startups in our community are working on products that kind of follow the both schools of thought. So some of them are building products that are kind of like around big data and studying data, right? Collecting data, using data, analyzing data. And some startups are building tools that allow more transparency. So kind of like putting all those existing kind of like booking services, like kind of deconstructing them and allowing travelers to actually understand what's going on with their fare.
Yes.
So it's kind of two. There's startups working on both sides, and I know a lot of them. But in my personal opinion, I think I would always go for integrity. So any products that are considering integrity in terms of end consumer is going to be exciting for me. If we cannot provide data in an open manner, then we're just going to get ourselves deeper into this mess of a closed system behind the curtains where really nobody really understands what's going on. So the more kind of approaches we devise to make it less transparent and to manipulate the data, the deeper we are gonna get into the mess, which in turn really slows the innovation, because for anybody